what is your car and what's like the story on it? I really don't even know exactly what the year and model and stuff of your car is. Yeah, I've self-proclaimed muscle car knowledge is very lost on me.
Well, I'll educate you on mine. So I bought that car about 20 years ago. I had a 69 Firebird convertible before that. And I didn't have a bar or anything, and it was going too fast for because you can only go 1350. And so I wanted something quicker. I didn't want to put a roll bar in the Firebird. And my brother actually found two GTOs, a 65 GTO and a 67 GTO. And the fellas were restoring the 67 GTO and needed some seats. And they went to the junkyard, tried to buy some seats out of this 65 GTO. And they said they wouldn't sell it to them, take the whole car or take none of it. And so they took the car, realized it was black, red interior, stick car, and decided not to cut it up. And that was essentially how I found it, from a junkyard.
So that car was from a junkyard. It seems so nice to be a junkyard car.
Yeah, it was not that nice. I could send you some pictures, but it was, the door on the passenger side was kicked in, the rear quarter was beat up, the front fender, when we tried taking the paint off, realized that it was a whole bunch of lead in it, and like an inch thick of lead. And the whole front end had been caved in. So it was, needless to say, it was a disaster.
Yeah, it was a mess.
So, I had this nice silver with a black top, Firebird, and sold that and brought home this junker that we could hardly even get off the trailer because somebody had taken the yoke off the pinion, so it was locking up the rear end. And my wife comes out and she's looking at me and she's thinking, "You are nuts." And so that was like October, 20 years ago, whatever year that was. And I went at it hard till August of next year, and fully did it, frame off, did everything with a goal of running 1150s and getting 20 miles a gallon. Mm-hmm. And here we are now running 850s and
with the Pontiac motor originally still and everything.
Yeah. When I built it originally, it had a 400 Pontiac with a 4.5-inch stroke crank, and it was 90 over, which you'd think that thing's never going to survive, but it's still in my buddy's car now, and it was an amazing engine. And then my engine builder. In 2013, I told him I wanted to go to Drag Week. Mm-hmm. So he built this motor that's in my car now, and it was naturally aspirated, had a Dominator on it, and we drove all the way and did Drag Week in 2013.
Like a Dominator, not an EFI system. You're talking Dominator carburetor. Yeah. Because the Holly Dominator, people may assume you're talking like a
good catch.
EFI.
Yeah, this was a great big fuel dumping station.
Yeah. Car guys are so weird because you're like, I didn't want to put a roll bar in my car, so I did a frame-off restoration on a different car.
Yeah, looking back looking at Devin Vanhoof, it's like, man, I should have just put a bar in my convertible. The car would have been lighter, but
it's just funny how our brains think like that. We're like, oh, this is easier than the alternative, and
not the smartest bunch. No,
we all do that. we all think like, oh, you have like a spare part, and you're like, I should build a whole nother car because I have this spare transmission. Like you go down this rabbit holes like that. So you're 20 years of driving this car now. Yeah,
I'm going to just comment on your last. So here's a good car analogy. So yesterday we all finished sick week. And there's free food over in the for all the people who competed, and that lineup is like, I bet you it's an hour and a half long. There's another lineup for food that's probably $20, and it's like really short. And it's like, that's car mentality for you. Yeah, we're all trying to save $20 here. Meanwhile, we spent God knows how much doing this event. But it was like, I'm like. Don't get me wrong, I stood in that line for a few minutes too, and then I finally thought, I think I'm just going to spend $20 and go sit down. But
everybody sees you go to the the $20 line. They're like, oh, the rich guy's in town.
Exactly, totally.
Like, oh man, still got money after sick week. You haven't maxed out your credit cards. Whoa.
Yeah.
That's the running joke. Is like you gotta max out your credit card on sick week.
Yeah.
Put yourself in financial hardship for drag racing.
Yeah, and all those people in that line. Yeah, it's like did they have a really bad one, or they just now they're saving money for the next event. But
so it's a 67 GTO, right?
So mine is a 65 GTO.
Yours is the 65.
We bought both of those cars. My brother bought the 67. I bought the 65, and I ended up buying the 67 off him eventually, fixing it up and selling it. But mine's a 65 GTO. Like I said, it's black, red interior. It was originally a 4-speed car, and it was a 4-barrel. It wasn't tri-power. But when I first built it, I put a tri-power on it and pretty much wore out the screws. And then in 2013, when I did Drag Week and got addicted to this crazy drag and drive stuff.
2014?
2013.
Oh, 2013. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it's been, all downhill from there. So
that car seems good for drag and drive, though. Like, it's got a lot of space. It seems to tow a trailer pretty well because it's like longer vehicle. Like,
yeah,
it seems like it would be a better car than your previous one, even though that wasn't your goal. It just kind of seems like it luckily worked out that way.
Yeah, I knew I wanted to do Drag Week because that was the only event at the time. And so, yeah, the 65 GTO's got a great big trunk in it. At that time, I hadn't even thought about towing a trailer. But the huge trunk was like, oh, I can fit like lots of things in that thing.
I know. I saw it when you opened it up. I was like, oh, there's endless space in here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So you're right. It is a good drag and drive, except for it's really heavy when you have everything in it that I have.
Well, you still have back seats and stuff. Like,
yeah. The back seats are out right now. Last 2 years, I had Kyle Williams from Boosted Lifestyle. No. Boosted Lifestyle. Yeah, I had, and then I scooted by Colorado and picked up Blaine last year.
Yeah, Blaine had a fun time riding in the back, editing videos from what I've seen.
And driving, too. Yeah, he drove that thing through what I was hoping was going to be, 90 miles of calm road, and we ended up going through Albuquerque. No, we went through Alabama, and it was like full-on traffic, 80 miles an hour, but... If you know Blaine at all, you know that kid can wheel anything. So.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
Especially
I was a little nervous,
but car.
Yeah,
that's his bread and butter right there.
Absolutely. Yeah,
have him pull a trans with you, and it's like second nature to him. He's been doing that since he was in diapers, I think.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, yeah.
So you guys have what, 25,000 miles on that thing per year, just drag and drive
last
stuff?
Last year was probably the most. We did 4 events. And it was right around 25,000 miles.
Guys, thank you for tuning in to the Bogetti Clips YouTube channel. For the full podcast, check us out on Bogetti Studios YouTube and all your audio platforms. Also, hit that subscribe button to not miss out on any of the new Bogetti clips coming up.